Hi, Candy here. This is the third go, and we'll see if it happens this time. Wait for some people to join. Like I said before, maybe those same three will jump on. There we go. Okay. I've sent Taylor an invitation to join.
Hey,
There he
Candy,
is. Hi, Taylor.
what's going
How are you?
on?
Uh, a lot. A lot is going on. We're building stuff, remodeling some stuff. It's a lot of fun. I did some woodworking this morning, and he took over that project. So anyway, it's fun. It's fun. Jimmy's a lot of fun. He keeps me in stitches.
It'd
Um, yeah,
be nice
yeah,
to meet him.
yeah, for sure. And so you're going to get to. We're having an Apple and Music Festival October 25th through the 27th, and you are one of the big speakers here. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming, and thank you for taking your time out to talk with me today. Um, all right, so here's a little story for you. I started listening to you in 2016. I'd been down at a detoxification conference, and I connected with this guy, and he came back to Tennessee with me and lived for 2 summers and helped me put in a permaculture food forest. And we took a road trip, and we were going to Hot Springs and to go digging for crystals. And he said, listen to this guy. And so he put your YouTube on, and that was it. So I started listening to you in 2016, and then you had your sister on there some, and so then I started following Casey. So yeah, and one of your favorite talks is about starch, and I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that during on one of your talks. So on Saturday, we haven't got exactly the hours, but it's pretty dang close. Brittany is polishing that up. But you said you were good for 3 hours on Saturday. And so breath work, you'll lead the breath work in the morning. Or if you want to go through the healing sounds, and then a couple of talks. Or if you wanted to do 1 hour of talk and then another hour or 2 hours of like some music and comedy. So this is the barn behind me there, and there's a full stage set up there. We got cedar floors, cedar walls, cedar ceilings there. It smells great in here. And then the outdoor amphitheater is down there, and there's an outdoor kitchen. There's a loft in this thing here. So this is a neat little place to have some talks as well, or maybe the comedy thing might be cool.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Jordan. Hi, Cindy. They'll both be here. Jordan the Frugivore, he does Thai massage. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's been in Ecuador for a number of years, and he just got back. I think he's originally from Mississippi. Don't quote me on that. But and then I know you have a big following, and I'm on your Patreon. I follow you there. So if there gets to be enough people on here, maybe we could take a little vote from the people. And like a lot of people they've read your books, and maybe they could give some suggestions on what they'd like to hear you talk about. I know that there's a big audience of older men, and you've talked about starch and how it makes things stiff, but not always everything stiff that you want stiff when you want it. So that would go over really well. And
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So, and you could ask me any questions that you want to. You're going to be bringing your dogs, which is great. Here's Maybe. There's maybe.
Yeah.
She can open the door and shut the door. Well, no, she don't shut the door. I wish she would shut the door, but she opens the doors. um, yeah, and either way too. Like if she's inside, she can open it. Yeah, she's a trip. Ned will be here. It's my little dog. He's a dachshund mix, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So where did you just travel to? You and Casey went and did some traveling.
Yeah. I was living in Brazil, playing football down there, and yeah, man. So that's where I was at. I mean, she came to see me at the tail end of it, and then we did some moving around from there, and it was pretty cool, man. I think Brazil's all right. I think it's a poorly managed country. A lot of the cities got terrible air quality, and it's just a shame because there's a lot of good people there and a lot of resources there, but the country just ran terribly, and it's like totally on the New World Order shit, if you will. Like they got everybody's paying digitally through like they have like their version of Apple Pay, and then they gotta enter their like social security number every time they pay for anything, and it's just crazy. So it's a great place in some ways, and in other ways, just like wow, I guess it's the future in some respects for a lot of people.
Yeah. It's like, wow, they lost it. It's almost like, oh, dang it.
Yeah,
Oh, dang it. They sunk. They gave in, or whatever.
yeah. I mean, like,
That's disappointing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I heard you say something about if you didn't ever travel again, that it would be okay. And I kind of wondered, was it because of the great things you saw and so you were so fulfilled, or was it the hassle of the travel and maneuvering?
I guess it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, man. Because like I seen some really cool stuff. I guess it's like I'm grateful for that, but on the other end, yeah, the whole rigmarole of travel and then everything that comes with it, and like how it kind of just got homogenized. Like a lot of the world's kind of homogenized. So especially the experience of travel is very homogenized. Like it's I don't know places that have tourist economies are kind of all the same in a lot of respects, and like there might be some differences in the landscape, but for the most part, you're gonna end up having like a similar experience. Maybe you're there for different different views or whatever, but the the essence of the experience is pretty much homogenized. The travel,
Mm-hmm.
from my opinion. And the more I do it, the more I did it like over the years, the more I'm like, okay, this is like it's just like an itinerary like any other. Like, it's just I'm getting through this to get to the other side of it, take the pictures, you see the things. When I first started traveling, it was before the selfies, so I was not taking pictures of myself really. So it was like a totally different like I feel like experience as far as like wanting to capture it. And now it's like I don't know. I just feel like you see other people doing it. It's the cringe shit. You go to the beach. You're in a beach, like a remote beach somewhere, and then like everybody's just taking selfies, or chicks are just taking like OnlyFans type pictures on the beach, and it's cringe. It's like, damn, this is really cringe, man. I don't know if I want to be a part of this. But, like as far as even like documenting and capturing everything, I just feel like, damn. I don't really feel like these are some expensive ass pictures. Ultimately, like how much do I really like the experience? And it's like it's okay, you meet some cool people, but everywhere is kind of the same. They made everywhere kind of the same, so it's like I'll spend a lot of money to go to a different part of the cage, or a lot of energy, because I didn't have to pay for my flights or my housing because I was working, but still I had to give the energy to go play football, put my body on the line, and it's just not really worth it. At this point in my life, I feel like it's not really worth it to travel. I'd rather have, my own off-grid place or places and have, have some bug out places to go between and just establish that, like do something like what you're doing. You meet some people that's in the same vein of being, and you can kind of insulate each other from the trials that are apparently ahead of us. Because you imagine you trying to travel and take selfies, and it's like, you know, fucking internet gets shut down or something, whatever. It doesn't really make sense. Like in the long run, it doesn't hold weight. Like I feel like I did that, and if people they feel the need to go travel somewhere, I'm not gonna tell them that they're wrong. But I feel like at this point, there's no point in me doing it. Like I don't. I feel like it's for other people or for whatever. It's just not. I'm beating a dead horse. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I find so much pleasure in just going outside and laying down on a blanket. I mean, really, it's like,
Yeah,
I,
you're in Tennessee. I mean, it's lovely. Tennessee is lovely.
it
I mean,
is. It is lovely. Yeah, I've been really craving it. It's like I just want to go out there and lay down, right there. So, yeah, so I don't know if if you really know me or like, how much we go back, because I forget what year it was. Maybe it was 2017 or 2018. I was on a solid food vacation, and I wanted to either talk to either you or John Rose. And within 20 minutes, you and I were on the phone. And you were so patient with me. And I had a specific question. I was telling you about how my legs felt when I would go up the steps. I have a basement house, and then that they just felt like tired, like really fatigued or something by the time I'd get to the top. And you told me about sending breath down to my legs, you know. And so I ended up going 122 days on that solid food vacation. But so many times, like I've asked you think, like if I want to ask somebody something, a lot of times it's you. I asked you one time about digital currency, and you set me straight on that. I love that. I appreciate and respect those who have been living a regenerative lifestyle and done work on themselves, and they're so more clean and pure, and you've put it to the test. You've so much experience, and so there's true knowledge there. So I thank you for that. And then something there was a post of yours on Facebook the other day, and after I read it, I went back to what I had done. I just deleted the whole thing, because I thought, because it kind of like put me in check about thinking about how maybe I was coming across, and you're so polished with that, Taylor. Like, I mean, people, you look one way maybe, but I think the world of you, man. It's going to be great. Want all your people to come. All your people come on, and there's plenty of space. And so, you can talk about breath work a little bit, and maybe give some people some pointers if they kind of want to get going a little bit before they come, so they're not maybe hit hard with it or something, or maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it should be pretty fun. People over there just, they could be having, I guess, like an apple juice fast kind of in that process if they want, or they could just have the raw and the juice, I guess, raw apple pie you were saying, and juice or whatever. They could play it however they want to play it. When it comes to posting and stuff, it's been, I guess, yeah, you get kind of polished in some respects, just doing it, and then just going through those wars of just dealing with the back and forth with people early on, like years ago, and just seeing like, at one point I was just like, I wanted to get the points across, and I kind of did it in a contrived way because I was like, I know this will shock people if I word it this way, or if I capitalize these letters and then I position the words this way, and it'll pop out to people, and then it will sting them, and then they'll respond, and then people will, they'll engage with the page and the posts and everything, and I feel like that really wasn't me really trying to teach anybody. That was just like kind of me trying to be right for a while. I just was like, I don't really care if you learn. I just want to be right. And I think kind of like now after just having gone through the trials of that, of like seeing what's really effective and like kind of like just more so teaching myself how to communicate, like from a non-emotional place, like a more universal place, so that I can actually um, really like get in touch with myself through the process of posting. This is just coming from a non-emotional, like just awareness. Like this is just objective reality, and I have to tap into that in order to penetrate people, so it connects with that part of them. Because I don't really want to connect my emotions with other people's emotions, and then everything just gets muddy, And I don't really want to get so far into logic either, like because you know it's like true logic seems illogical. So like it's a lot of stuff you just want to get it. You just want to bring it to like a basic, you know, um, fundamental or primordial way of communicating to where there's not really any fluff. Anybody can understand it and comprehend it rather, and they really can't run from it. I feel like I gave people avenues to run. Because I kind of just like I want to fix the world because I want the world to fix my problems. That's kind of where I was at. Like a lot of the time when I posted in the beginning, like I didn't want to fix my own or repair my own problems. So I was like, well, I'll take on the world then instead of just doing the little things in my own life, and then the world will owe me or some shit. I think that's like kind of the unconscious way about it. Like, oh, the world has to fix my problems then because I'm taking on the whole world, and it's like trying to eat too much at once or something. It's like no way I can really repair the world. Like obviously I got to start small. So
Yeah.
the post now, I feel like I really, before I would like, I'll kind of force it, especially when I was getting high, I would kind of be forcing it because I'll be writing, because I would kind of be like frustrated in my own life or with just feeling invisible or not really feeling understood or people really comprehending what I had to say or what I was thinking. And I was like feeling alone. So I was like posting from loneliness. And I was like, man, let me post just so I can get on people's skin in a way that I know they have to respond to me, and it like exalts me instead of me like people exalting me, because it's really up to other people if they want to exalt me or not. It's not something that I can do. Exalting myself is just pathetic, really.
It's kind of cool to observe the process of, when I very first started versus now. I mean, and I have so so far to go, right? And I have accepted or whatever to where, like, okay, as far as human design, if you know anything about that, and because I've really felt like your sister straight away. I was like, manifestor generator, got to be something going on there. I'm a projector. So somebody told me once, oh, you're not really supposed to work that much. And I was like, great, but I am a worker. I've always worked. I'm a doer.
Yeah.
And not much of a sitter, not techie like a little bit techie savvy, but as far as getting on the computer and editing a big long video, no, you're not gonna find me doing that. But I kind of was where I was going with that. Oh, just that accepting that and knowing, okay, you know what, I would, maybe my role isn't that so much, but it's this, and it's, getting it together, and that's the part I love, and let you guys talk and share and do that part, and I love it. So here you are, you're what, 6'5". I'm 55 years of living. What's your age?
34.
34. So 6'5", 34. You've been plant-based for how long?
Only 2008 was the beginning of the process. So what's that? 14, 16 years. Coming up on 16 years. It'll be 16 years in like December.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, and I kind of want that to sink in just a little bit. 6'5". You're 6'5". I mean, and you're a football player. You're an athlete,
I've been
and you get all you need. What is that?
I've been up to 230 just on a vegan diet before. Like right now I usually like linger around like 200. If I fast, I'm dropping into the 180s. But usually I linger around 200. just from smoothies, I can stay at like 195, 205, depending on how much smoothie I have. But if I just have like smoothies, like whether it be vegan protein shakes and smoothies, I can still retain enough water to be at like 195, 200.
Do you add the
Just
vegan protein powder in them, like a Sun Warrior or any of that? Or
I usually use like Amazing Grass, or the sometimes if I can't get that, it's like the KOS stuff.
okay, and lots
Yeah.
of dates. Do you do lots of bananas and lots of dates?
In the smoothie, I put frozen bananas in the smoothies for the shakes. I mean, but I don't have that many dates. At one point in time I was eating a lot of dates, but I don't really have that many dates now. If it was if it was a game day and I needed something at halftime or something like that, I'm having dates. You know, if I eat anything on a game day, it would be dates. Because I usually don't like to have much, if anything, for a game. But because like most of it is like you're eating to recover. Like it's not like you're consuming things like so much to do things. Like you already have energy. It's like if you use the energy the right way, then it's just like, all right, now I gotta replenish. Mostly just electrolytes is mostly what gotta get. It has to be replenished. So if you do it more accurately, the replenishing, I feel like then you just need less, and then you keep your processing times down. There's less lethargy in your day.
Mm-hmm. And you don't do any dates or mini dates, if I mean nuts, any nuts, if any. Do you do any nuts at all, or just very little nuts?
If I was gonna have nuts really bother me, man. I have to soak them. If what I mean, like nuts really give me trouble with digestion. I
Same.
feel like so if I'd have to soak them if I was gonna take them in general, and then probably like cashews. I feel like do me the best if I soak cashews. It's not so bad. Um, Compared to nuts with like a lot of phytic acid, like um, Brazil nuts and almonds and things with brown skin on them. Got a lot of phytic acid.
Hmm. What is the worst thing that you consume, would you say? Or, if you have a have a bad thing that you go to sometimes, what would that be?
For me, it's just like excess. Maybe it'd be excess. Like it wouldn't be like it's a such a bad thing. The protein shakes are the worst thing I consume because it's more than five ingredients usually in those shakes. It's just like the powder, the coconut milk, the banana, whatever's in the powder. That's probably the worst thing I consume. And then if I have just too much of it, usually my problem will be, it's not so much the ingredients. It was like just the portion control is my issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so relationships and mindful relationships, conscious relating, that is something that you cover very well, and you've had some experience with, um, you've had plenty of experience with women, you know what I'm saying, and different lifestyles, um, that one might choose to live. And so, yeah, I love it that it seems like you have strong boundaries. And so talk to us a little bit about, have you changed those any recently, or are you getting even more like locked in and even more kind of limited in a way, with tightening in your boundaries?
I mean, I guess it's like, when it comes to the opposite sex, like, and as far as like being in a relationship, like a domesticated relationship, I think that I just don't, I don't know, certain things you have to have in order before you can really get involved in it. So I don't really think about it so much, like being in that, like staying in that, like for that to commit to it. I mean, and I'm not saying like I'm hoeing around. Like I haven't had sex in like a year. It could definitely have been longer. I definitely could have done more years. I could have treated my body better. But I feel like at this point, I'm just kind of just, nah, I'm gonna just do what I can't not do, and I don't really feel like I need to have sex right now, or I need to have a relationship, like a domesticated relationship at this moment. Like I don't feel like I really can pay for that on so many levels. You know, like right now, just don't. I don't feel like I can pay for it. I don't have the certain things I need to get. Because I feel like the only reason you have a relationship like that is to have a child, to have start a family, to get married. You know what I mean? Like at this point, I would be going towards getting married. So I don't see me like really playing around, and I don't really like feel like I have all my ducks in a row to where I'd be like, all right, it's time to settle down. And I haven't met a scenario where I just felt relaxed or like calm enough. I shouldn't even say relaxed, I guess, but like I have never felt like calm enough to be like, all right, this is it. Let's move forward with this. So I just do from day to day. I just do whatever makes sense in that day, and I don't even really if it never happens, it never happens. Like I really don't have any pressure. It's enough pressure around me. I just don't pressure myself no more. Like far as being with someone or like starting a family, having a family. It's like, look, if this is gonna make sense, then I'll just be in it. It would just be happening, and this shit just gonna unfold. And then, at that point, it's like, why fight it? But like to try to like kind of project or like create the woman before I meet her or something, or like have this comparing women to the woman in my head that I made, that I feel like doesn't really get me anywhere, because ultimately it's like what really works, what's really functional, how can I even really be with someone like that? And I just think that life has a way of putting people together. Like it's just physics on one end of it, and then on another end it's like, you know, yeah, I think it's just law. Like ultimately it's just like law. Like um, in so many ways. Like the body, if you're paying attention to it, the body is just a physical manifestation of law. And if you respect the body, you're respecting the law. And in doing so, I feel like the body aligns with its likeness, and then whatever's supposed to unfold will just happen, and you just have to accept it. And the more you resist it, the more you welcome traumas and neglect, and then so I feel like at this point, I'm not in a position to really be in a relationship. It's like I can want a Lamborghini all I want, I don't have the money for a Lamborghini. That's kind of how I feel about relationships. Like it's a lot of stuff, especially the things being geared the way they are. Like a lot of expectations, I feel like in the world will have to come down um, before I can, because I just don't see many modern women, or the women that I find attractive, um, wanting to come away from the dependency of it. And so I just think that like things will have to really shift. Like it's like, all right, I'd rather have my autonomy than have certain duties that come from the grid, and so until that happens, I don't know. I don't even know if it's gonna be possible. I look at it like, man, I could wait. Theo Vaughn, right? He lived in Nashville. Theo Vaughn.
Who is this?
Theo Vaughn, the comedian. He lives in Nashville. His dad had him when he was 70. So
Oh,
I look at it like I got plenty of time. You know what I mean? That's how I look at this point. When I was younger, I didn't look at it like I had any time. So I was just getting involved with any and everybody kind of. I was like pressuring everything. And I was operating like I didn't have time. And like, so my behavior made it to where I didn't have time. And then I feel like it created a lot of ugly situations. And so now I'm
do
just
you
not
know how old
pressing.
his mother was when
I think she
you
was
got?
in her 40s. Yeah, I think she was.
I was 42 when I had my second son. I feel like I could have another child. I don't know, but I would. I mean, I would put my body through that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be afraid. There would
Yeah,
be no fear. Talking about kind of flow. If it happens, it happens. Like what is supposed to come your way is going to come. And like I was thinking about, you took some Russian lessons, And so that had to happen some kind of way. You know, you met the Russian teacher. I think it was Russian, wasn't it? Was it Russian? You were
Uh,
taking
German, the
German.
German and Latin, and yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And so that kind of connected, you know, and that happened. So I don't know. Are there any more foreign languages that you're
I just
gonna
I, just,
learn?
I study Hebrew every night, man. I, I do my best to finish a book. Like it depends on certain books are shorter, obviously, in the Bible than others. You know what I mean? But if I was gonna read like a prophet, most prophets, the books have like 50 to 60 chapters. I try to read like 4 chapters a night and read them in Hebrew. And so that's
Yeah.
like the minimum. What as far as like reading. Some days I read more, and then every now and again I'll take a break to where I could just read something else because I feel like I read a lot of the Bible in Hebrew. That's most of my reading, and I feel like sometimes I give it a couple of days and just read something else, whatever it be about chemistry or something else, just to break it up.
Yeah.
But
Do you have a bedtime for yourself?
no, I don't, man. At this point, I don't. I really don't. I've been in so many different time zones in the last 6 months that I don't really have a bedtime.
Yeah. I don't have a bedtime either. And then night is just, my morning flow is nice. You know, it's like predictable a little bit. Nighttime is just kind of, and then I lay down, you know, but I've thought about that before. If my nighttime patterns could get into more of a rhythm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I like to read before bed. I feel like it calms me down. I like to. I'm reading in the morning's cool too. Don't get me wrong, but I think for me right now, I like reading before bed because I feel like it also breaks it up because sometimes I think if I don't read, then I might be on my phone or I might be watching something. So I'd rather like at least be in like looking at something that's actually like real, like 3D in front of me and look at that and like my eyes adjusting to that instead of looking at a screen for however long. So I, read for an hour, hour and a half, and then take it down.
Yeah. I'm a lot of times at night, I'm giving Jimmy a massage. I've got my massage table up here, and it seems like that really calms me down. You know, it's just that I guess it's kind of like a dumping almost of an energy. There's such an energy exchange there that it's very calming. A lot of times I used to rub someone's hands if we were laying in the bed together, and I'd rub his thumbs and hands and stuff like that, and it's just like I go to it. It's like I just want to give a hand massage or something like that. It's and it's very calming. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. And people, I think, yeah, definitely people need that touch and that release that comes with that. I think that's helpful for sure. Both ends.
Yeah. My goal is to be able to do scorpion pose at some point. I can do crow, so I can balance. I've got the hand. I mean, I'm up off my head. I'm on my hands, but for some reason, just from crow to like then just trying to do the scorpion, I don't know. Something happens there, and I don't know.
You fell a bit? You fall? I mean, I think I just did it a bunch of times in the grass and I just was like falling. And I was like, all right, well, worst that can happen is that. So then I stopped being, the fear went away. And then I just started to find that center more and more. And then I could do it. But I don't know, maybe I've met women that are like really like athletic and like acrobatic, but they have issues with the scorpion. And I don't know if it's like you just gotta work on the lower back or the shoulders. I'm not sure.
I'm not
I'm not.
sure either, but I feel like it's definitely both of those. Yeah, both of those things. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? You can drop them in the box, and we have had one question. So someone asked, what is your take on digital currency?
Oh man, I mean that's a loaded question in a lot of ways, but I think that people can use it. It's just ultimately like who controls the servers, you know, and like what do you do when if there's cyber attack and the power goes out and there's no grid. So I think, if you use them while there's a grid and while the dollar still exists, I mean, if the dollar goes down, I don't like, because like Bitcoin's what, 60,000 right now. If the dollar goes away, how do you measure the Bitcoin? It'll be worth $6 million, but if $6 million be worth nothing, be worth a loaf of bread. So how do you really value it? It doesn't really have a tangible value other than the energy it costs to mine it. If you're mining on a base, like, because that's the only way I think you can still begin to measure it, is to look at it like, okay, it costs this much energy, this many kilowatts to mine, this many bits to make a coin. So the money is now the energy, and now that's basically the matrix. I mean, it's always kind of been that in some respects, but the dollar never really costed energy to make. We just gave it energy. So Bitcoin, I think, I think it could be cool in some respects. You could have some autonomy there, but on the grid, I don't know how you can spend it on the grid without being tracked. As much as your wallet might be private, as the things clamp down more and more, I don't know how it wouldn't be tracked. Because it's just like if you got programmable currency, you just not like say you got Bitcoin, but it's like you're not gonna be able to spend it. Say they be like, look, we don't accept. You can spend Bitcoin here, but it's like you have to have a public wallet or something. Like, why would they let people spend money like the big box stores and stuff? I think everything's gonna have to be tracked. They're not gonna let you have autonomy to spend in there. So if you have a private wallet, they'll be like, look, no, you can't. Your money's no good here. So then you have to spend for other people. But it's like, how many people are gonna really weather these storms and keep businesses open as the dollar gets blown away? I don't know how many middle to small businesses are gonna last through these waves. So I think if you're gonna be doing like a barter system or like have some sort of um, currency exchange on a ground level, like some type of free market, I don't see why you wouldn't have silver, gold, or barter, ammo, seeds, um, that type of shit, or and also services, obviously. So I mean, I think it's just like a time and a place for it. I think it's like, yeah, it's cool right now, but I wouldn't. If it completely takes over, then the dollar has to go away, and CBDCs are going to arise. So then you're going to be in a totally um, monitored environment. So I think you can use it up until that point. Once we reach that point, then it's like, all right, time to get out, time to have tangible assets that I can trade physically because I don't.
Okay, here's another question. Do you read the Bible so often because you're subscribed to Christianity or just perspective?
Well, I think that the Bible is the body. It is chemistry. From what I learned so far, it is chemistry. Like, it is the periodic table in like allegorical or metaphorical form. But I feel like that life is a physical metaphor. Life is just a reflection of the metaphysical. It's a physical metaphor. So I feel like when it comes to the Bible, it's just like the story of chemistry on a macro and microcosmic level. Everything that's playing out in the Bible is just like showing you pretty much what happens with the body and what happens with bloodlines and just the course of that, like just the natural course of things as far as just the creative process, like the overall creative process. I think that it's like a script. It is a script, and the blood is a script. The DNA is a script, and I feel like reading the Bible is just like reading the pattern of DNA, like what it does, how it gets mutated. The whole thing is just about bloodlines and how which people become kings, which people become the preacher class, what they do, which people become. I guess you could say like the Jews would call them like goyim, like just like Gentiles or whatever. Those people that are, not from that, the I guess you could say elite bloodlines, however you, or original bloodlines, however you want to look at it. I don't think you have to get caught up in certain parts of like the identification. I know a lot of people will be like, nobody's better than anyone, but I do feel like this is a game that we're in. We're in whether you want to call it a simulation or whatever. This thing is a program that we're in. It's like it has a course. It's a course of life, and it's configured in a certain way. It has a plan to it, just like the seasons proceed